Okie dokie. So I'm gonna make this nice and big for you. I've got my setup down here, and I'm gonna show you how it works here in just a sec. Okay, so looking over the code, most of this is exactly the same as what's in that YouTube video where they show you how to use the new ping thing. But what I've added here is the LED. So INT LED, that's just the name that I'm giving it. And I've connected it to pin 6. So I'll show you on the breadboard. So here's my LED. And it's actually got a pretty small resistor here. I'll leave these resistors out for you. They came from a bag that is a little different, and the resistors are really tiny. So we're looking at, I don't honestly know which one it is, but it's one of these. So you can see that's a lot smaller than like the 220 ohms that we are normally dealing with. The best color that I've been able to get with this is the blue. And right now, that's connected to pin 6 on here. And then we've got our echo and trigger pins. We're using that new pin deal. And this is where we're, basically defining the sensor. And then down here, this is so the same stuff where it's like if the sensor or actually sorry up here, this is where it's telling you where it's going to print in the serial monitor the distance and inches away, so telling you how many inches away something is from the sensor. And then this part is what I added, this if-else statement. I added this part for our purposes to be used with the LED. So here, if this distance sensor reads a value that is equal to 0, and that happens if it doesn't have anything in front of it at all, it's gonna let the LED turn off. So that means the object that's plugged into pin 6 is gonna be low, not have any current going to it. Else, if that is not true, so if the sonar sensor reads any value that is not 0, it's going to turn the LED on. So pin 6 will have a high amount of current going to it. So that is how the code looks. And I'm going to go ahead and send it. Okay, so now it's sent, it's gone through, and normally, like it's usually detecting some object around it, like it might be even detecting the table. I've noticed that if I tilt it up, can you see how the light turned off there for a moment? When it's not detecting any object in front of it, that's when the light's going off. So if I point it up at the ceiling, but it seems to go on most of the time. But then over here, if you haven't used the serial monitor yet, you turn that on by clicking this button here, serial monitor. And if it doesn't open, click it again. Hey, there it goes. So now the serial monitor is showing up, and so that's showing me the distance in inches away. And I'm gonna tilt this, and do you see where it's showing 0 inches right now? That was when the light is off. So I don't know that I can show you it, maybe I can move it over here. It's a little hard to move it around, but when this reads 0, when it's not detecting anything, that's when the light goes off. So whenever that reads 0, that's when the light should go off. So if you want me to, if that's enough for you, then go to town. If you want to see, keep watching if you want to know a little bit more about how I set this up. Okay, so we've got the sonar sensor here, and if you don't want to plug it into the breadboard, you can also use these lovely male to female wires. Where's the camera? There we go. So you can also use those. And I just wanted to go ahead and plug it into the breadboard to make it easier, and to also just hold the sensor in place so I don't have to worry about that. And then the wiring here is, it should match exactly what you guys have in the book. So if we look at our sensor book, wherever the sonar sensor is, somewhere in here. Ultrasonic sensor. So the wiring that I have for the ultrasonic sensor should match this with, you know, the echo and the trigger pins. I always get in my head, I feel like the trigger pin should go in pin 11, but it doesn't. It goes in pin 12. Echo goes in pin 11, which you feel like echo should go first, but it's not like that. So echo pin 11, that's the one that waits to receive the echo, and trigger pin is the one that sends out a pulse. And it's just because pin 12 is set up so that it can send out that pulse, and pin 11 is set up so that it can receive an echo. That has to do with, if you want to know in detail, you'll notice that pin 12 does not have a squiggly line next to it, and pin 11 does. That means that pin 11 is pulse width modulating. That means that it can change the like it's not just on or off. It can have different amounts. So that's why the echo needs to be in that pin. But yeah, let me see. It's hard to tell when the light is going out on the video. The light is, oh, you can kind of see that it's flashing. So whenever that's 0 inches away, that's when you should see the light turning off, whenever that's 0. Let's see, you can see how the LED is plugged in. So LED, the white wire, sorry, BattleBots is working. The 6-pin is getting plugged in to the breadboard, and then my resistor is plugged into the same row as that white pin. And then the LED, the long leg of the LED is sharing a row with my resistor, and then the short leg of the LED is getting plugged into that negative row. So earlier I was having trouble because I had accidentally plugged in, I think it was one of these 2 red wires. I had accidentally plugged it into blue, and so nothing was working properly, which, as you might expect. Or maybe it was this one. I think it was this one was plugged in, which is the one that's coming from the sensor. So everything was like compiling and turning on and stuff, but nothing was happening. And then I finally realized that this needs to be plugged into the red row, and then everything looked just fine. So try that out. Also, as you're typing in code, fun fact that I've learned is if you go up to, if you're like adding more things here, tools, and then auto format will get everything nice and organized for you. It'll like automatically put in all of the different tabs and stuff. So I think that's really helpful. All right, hope that works for you guys. Thank you.